Hello, football land and cowboy lovers. First of all, I want to apologize for the last two videos. I work on a Mac and I tried to encode them a little quicker so I can get it faster, whatever. So apparently they were able to be heard on Macs and iPhones, but not PCs and Android. So I'm going normal this time. It's going to take a little longer for this thing to get up, but it's not the season. We're in no hurry. Just sit back, get your coffee. Let's talk about some NFL and get ready to see it this fall. All right. The first impression that I got from the draft this year was, I think a lot of teams are going to run more than usual this coming year. And I think it's because of the success that, Philadelphia has had, especially the Shanahan system, because it's going all over the league. So if you know me, you know I love it. I am a lover and I am a believer of the run game. Those guys on TV, they have to sell a game. They have to sell a game. They have to sell the NFL. And the passing game sells. There's nothing more exciting than Patrick Mahomes when he's in the pocket and throwing down there. I mean, I get that. But the meat and bones of the NFL is that run game, and the pass game can come off of it if you're not lucky enough to have a Patrick Mahomes on your team. Do you? We don't. But I'm going to go through the run teams this year, the ones I don't want to see, the ones I do want to see, and the ones I just don't really care about. But I will mention them because they're good running teams. But I'm going to start with the ones that I really don't want to see, and in no specific order, but actually very specific. It is the Philadelphia Eagles. That's what they do. Last year, they averaged 4.6 yards a carry and produced a whopping 32 touchdowns. How can Mozzie be a wrong pick? I mean, let me say it again. 46 yards per carry and produce a 32 touchdown total. And the Dallas Cowboys picked the best run-stopping defensive tackle in the draft, and people give us a C. I'm telling you, there's no sense into listening to anybody in any mainstream media or anything when it comes to sports. Go to your team or YouTube or whatever, because there's no way they can follow every team. They don't know. Sorry, I digress. I'm going into a cocoon of anger, and it feels good because I'm talking about the Philadelphia Eagles. All right. I don't want to see them. The acquisition of Swift is concerning. And when I was watching the draft, I could tell that DeAndre Swift was the odd man out, and I was going to research him to see if he fit us because I was afraid that we were not going to be able to get one of the quality running backs early. Especially when Gibbs was gone, I was like, whoa. Gibbs was, that was supposed to be for us. So when Gibbs went, I started doing my research on, why would they let Swift go so early and yada, yada, yada. And before I could get any information, the Eagles came in, swooped up and plucked them. And I guess now we will find out what the deal is on DeAndre Swift the hard way, up close and personal, in our face. So we'll see that soon. I just can't see him doing any less than what Miles Sanders did. And then Gainwell is going to come and it's going to make up. If there's any lack between the two, Gainwell will make up for whatever. So they're going to do that. So they're not going backwards. That's for sure. They're not going backwards. So I will end the Philadelphia Eagle talk with saying thank you to the Atlanta Falcons. You're awesome. I'll get to that in a minute on the good side of the video. Now let's say to the nasty side of the video. Next, we have the San Francisco 49ers. I'm not going to talk about them much. They averaged 4.7 yards per carry and 20 touchdowns last year. Whatever their run game is, I don't even know what it is. Maybe they're running backs, maybe they're wide receivers, whatever weapon they want to give the ball to and let them run up the middle. That's what they do. And McCaffrey and Debo, they both are like hybrids, so they can do both equally well. So, and the only thing, sorry, Philadelphia. Not really sorry because y'all did it and you earned it because you put them out. So not really sorry. But the only reason that only thing that stopped that team last year was the lack of a competent quarterback. I mean, they went through three competent quarterbacks or whatever. So if they just had one of those guys, they could have. They probably would have went a little bit further. And I guess the last one, I'll put Cleveland on this list because the uniforms are ugly. They average 4.7 yards a carry with 19 touchdowns. Okay, now to the fun teams. All right, in no specific order except in the case of this first one, the Dallas Cowboys. Sorry. First of all, we hope and expect Tony Pollard to come back 100%. Pollard and Deuce is an electric of a combination that I can even think of. And now, my thoughts on Pollard has changed a little bit to maybe we should get Pollard signed now. Sign him now, to a nice, good, team-friendly contract before he tears up the league with this other guy. And then we have Pollard and Deuce together. So, I mean, look, man, Deuce is the one I love the most, but after Deuce, I can't wait to see Deuce, but after Deuce, there's one guy who I like almost as much as Deuce. Now tell me, what position did Ezekiel Elliott pay for the Dallas Cowboys last year? You're right, fullback. Good job, fullback. You said it quickly. Fullback, exactly. So Hunter Luepke is the best fullback I've seen come in the NFL in a long time. He blocks. He can run between the tackles. He has great hands, and he's a goal line specialist. So within those three, within Pollard, Deuce, I can't wait to see Deuce again. Pollard, Deuce, and Luepke, I think we're ready for it, and I can't wait to see it. The only thing that I'm worried about with our running game with the Dallas Cowboys is that running the football is an organizational state of mind. It's not a strategy. Like it's a philosophy in Philadelphia. It's a philosophy in San Francisco, but it's not a philosophy in Dallas. Within us, the fan base and all that kind of stuff, we want to just throw the ball, throw it. We get anxious when we run the ball too much. So that's the issue I'll have. It might be the anxiety through the fan base to push them to run more when we're trying to do something and trying to establish the run game and all that kind of stuff. So that's the one thing that worries me out. But as far as talent, boy, I think the Cowboys are going to have a real good running season next year. Okay, next I have the Atlanta Falcons. Does anyone wonder why the Atlanta Falcons drafted Bijan Robinson? Does anybody know? Does anybody think about that? Last year, they averaged a whopping 4.9. That's way more than us. 4.9 yards per carry and 17 touchdowns. And had one of the best, that was like three really good rookie running backs. Well, maybe four if you had the one in Houston. But rookie Tyler Algiers, I call him Algiers, surpassed 1,000 yards with a 4.9 yards per carry. What did they draft Bijan for? Me? Two reasons pop up into my mind. The one reason I hope that they were keeping him away from Philadelphia, because I literally would have died if Bijan had went to Philadelphia. 1,000%, just death right there, right under the star. If Bijan had went to Philadelphia, and y'all know, you Eagles fans know, if Bijan was on your offense, you'd be doing backflips right now. So thank you, Atlanta Falcons. I hope you did it for my purposes, but I don't think so. I think you did it because you're going to run the living daylights out of everyone in your division. I mean, come on. I mean, you already got a 1,000-yard rusher. You get the number one, like the next phenom running back in the draft, supposedly, or whatever. So, look, man. All right, another one. Good luck. All I got to say, I forgot about one. You got Bijan, you got Algiers, and you got Cordero Patterson, who scores a lot of touchdowns and can run the ball out of the backfield, too. And he does that same thing as like Debo does. And Cordero has always been a threat with the ball in his hands. So you got all that going on. Good luck to the NFC South. I'm moving on. Another sneaky one to watch is the Chicago Bears. Now, last year, they averaged 5.4 yards per carry. A lot of that was Justin Fields, of course. but 5.4 yards per carry with 18 touchdowns. And then they drafted some more power to go along with the power they already have with Deontay Foreman. And they got Rashawn Johnson from Texans, and then you got that Khalil Herbert and added the game in the mix in Fields. So Chicago will probably Atlanta. Those two teams will be at the tops of the league in rushing next year, and they're gonna be fun to watch. Okay, another one not so sneaky and could easily go in the hate category. And especially deserve to be in the hate category more than the Browns. Probably the Seattle, as I sit here and think about it, Seattle. Seattle averaged 4.8 yards per carry last year with 12 touchdowns, and they also drafted a top running back. Why? They already had Kenny Walker. I mean, one of the other top rookie from last year. The last one's in New York, and Breece Hall. But they had probably the best rookie last year in Kenneth Walker. And I made him be so mad. He's great. But, I mean, why do you draft Zach Charbonnet then? And Kenny McIntosh. I forgot about Kenny McIntosh as well from Georgia. Why would you waste draft picks on running backs like that? Again, I know why. Because they plan to run it down our throats. So Seattle has a plan. And I don't like it. The last two on this list kind of based on potential, more kind of like Dallas, because we haven't seen Deuce. I can't wait to see Deuce. We hadn't seen Deuce yet, and we hadn't seen Hunter Luepke yet, so we don't know exactly what those are going to bring. That's just me getting all excited. But the same way I'm getting excited with Miami. They were let down with us with only 4.3 yards per carry and 12 touchdowns last year. But they are the same thing as San Francisco. And they're going to get more plays that get the ball in the Hill's hands, Water's hands, Monster's hands, and A-Chain. That's just, that lineup is freaking unbelievable when it comes to speed. I mean, I cannot wait to see it. All I have to do is run. I mean, you can't coach speed. I mean, that's just it. So a healthy Tua and a good backup for Tua will take that team a long way. And there's in those, I hear they're in the waters down there in Miami. There's a Brady shark just like lurking. Doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo. All of them would be good for the Dolphins. All of them. All right. And last of the ones I can't wait to see is my dad's team. My dad and my father-in-law. They're both big, huge Colts fans. But why am I excited to see the Colts? They averaged 4.2. That's a little bit less than us, and only 8 touchdowns last year. But 2 reasons. First, of course, you have Anthony Richardson, come in. I mean, they better let him struggle like they let Peyton Manning struggle. I just want to throw that out there. But you got Anthony Richardson coming in, and if you look at most of the teams I'm talking about in this video, most of them have running threats at quarterback too. He's on a level of like Lamar and Josh as far as and Justin Fields, all 3 of them as actually being a legit part of the rushing attack. They're not running just because they can't get the pass off or whatever. That's a part of the game plan for those guys to run. So you can add Anthony Richardson in there with Jalen Hurts as well. You can add him in there but since I brought up Hurts, they hired the guy who set up Hurts last year perfectly. And his plays and his play calling and how he used Hurts and all that kind of stuff. And now he has Hurts on steroids. When it comes to the physical player or whatever, he has a bigger, stronger, more athletic, bigger arm, everything more than Hurts. So, and then of course you have Fred Taylor with Jonathan Taylor with them. So I look for them to win the division. And you know me, I'm a Clemson fan, love Trevor. So them and the Jaguars, them versus the Jaguars, I'm watching. Colts versus Jaguars, I'm watching. Okay, other notable teams before I let you go is, of course, I don't care about none of these at all. Well, I care about the Ravens a little bit with Lamar, but you know what they're going to do. You've seen it over and over and over. I watch them in the playoffs. Bills and Josh, I'm not a Josh fan or a Bills fan. Josh seems to me like he's being used more like a Cam Newton. It's just a sledgehammer on the defense. The Giants, Daniel Jones can run. The Raiders, and the Lions. But the Lions, as soon as Hendon Hooker starts, I'm a Hendon Hooker fan. As soon as Hendon Hooker starts, I'm watching the Lions because the Lions are an exciting team. The Lions got some. Amon St. Brown, that's one of my favorite receivers in the league. All right, guys. I'll do the same video about the passing teams in the NFL, and it's gonna be much shorter. It'll be like Patrick Mahomes, Herbert, Cincinnati. Pretty much it. Is there one more? Don't think so. All right, guys. I'll let you. Peace.